Hey guys, welcome back to another Simply Wonderful makeup video. Thank you for joining me today. As you guys can see by the title, today is going to be my everyday work appropriate makeup look and also mass proof makeup look. For me, I try to do my best with keeping it reeled in. When it comes to my makeup looks for work, I try to keep it nice, you know, clean looking, because I do work in an office. I do sometimes get the itch to add some glitter somewhere at some point in time, but for the most part I do try to keep it consistent with a just cute lash and add a pop of color on my cheek and on my lips. So if you guys want to see how to get this work appropriate makeup and mass proof look, then please keep watching. All right, so first things first, even with makeup we have to protect our skin, and I've been wearing sunscreen a lot more often. My go-to sunscreen right now is definitely the Butter Skin tinted sunscreen. This is perfect. It's very lightweight. It doesn't make my skin feel oily. It's one of the few sunscreens that I don't get like a weird burning sensation, if that makes sense. Some other sunscreens really irritate my skin to the point that I feel like my skin is like overproducing oil. I get breakouts afterwards, and sometimes I get like a very sensitivity to my skin. So this is one of the few that doesn't do that to me. So I'm just going to get a little bit, and it does have a tint to it. It looks like that, and I'm just gonna rub that in. Now we're getting into the prep work. So first things first is a good primer for the skin. I've been using the Bite Cosmetics their Change Maker primer. This one's great for like normal to oily skin, which I feel like my skin's been very oily lately. So I'm just going to apply this, and a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just gonna blend that in. There we go. And now it's time to create a nice base. Like I mentioned before, my skin has been overproducing a lot of oil. It's been super oily, so I just want to soak up a lot of that. The primer definitely helps, but adding a nice base of powder helps as well. So I'm going to be using my Lancome sponge, and I'm just going to pat my setting powder on my oily areas, which is normally around my nose and on my cheeks. I'm just gonna add that, my chin, and of course my big old forehead. So I'm just gonna pat that in, and you don't need a lot. I'm literally just using the same powder that I dipped in the first time, and just gonna pat that in there. Now I'm gonna take my powder brush, and I'm just going to dust off any excess powder. We're not baking. I'm literally just setting a foundation of powder to soak up any oil. Okay, my brows are already done. That takes up most of my time. I'm sure I'll link one of my other videos where I've shown in depth what I do with them, but we're gonna move on to the foundation. So when it comes to work, I just like to have a nice healthy glow. I am not looking for anything like full coverage or anything like that, just looking for my skin to look nice and hydrated. So my go-to has been the Lancome Skin Feels Good. This is their tinted, I want to say it's a skin tint for this one. It does have 32 SPF, but I always start with SPF in the beginning because the Butter Skin has 30, so we want to go with the highest one. This one's nice because it's buildable, but for me, just a, you know, 1 or 2 pumps is normally good. So I'm just going to add that here. I personally like to blend out in sections. Take my foundation brush and then stipple. I always like to do a good stippling motion when it comes to foundation. It just makes it look more airbrushed than if you could do swiping. Swiping is a lot harsher on the face. And do you guys see the difference? Healthy glow. You can still see, you know, my skin underneath, but it's just a healthier glow. So just going to blend that in. You can still see some of my dark spots, but again, we're human, we have imperfections. I just like to look nice and glowy for work. And now I'm going to do this side. And I'm running really low, as you guys can tell, so I'm definitely gonna have to place an order for more. Okay, so now we have our foundation or skin tint laid down. Now it's time for a little bit of color correcting here. Well, not color correcting, more like concealer. So I'm gonna go in, you guys already know, Wet n Wild Incognito Concealer. Just gonna lay that down. Lay that down. I'm just gonna put a little bit in the eye area. I'm not doing anything major as far as like eyeshadow work. I'm gonna keep it very neutral, but having a nice base just looks cleaner. So we're just gonna lay that down. And then I'm gonna take my buffing brush. I'm working on the eyes first while I let it sit underneath my eyes. We're just gonna blend that in. So there we go. I am just gonna go in and set my lid space real quick. I'm taking my Morphe E27. I'm just gonna set that. No creasing. Like so. And now I'm gonna move right into under eyes. Let me just blend that out. Like so. Go. And then I'm gonna go in with my sponge again into my setting powder, and I'm just gonna immediately set underneath my eyes. Like so. And I'm not too worried about adding concealer like to my chin or my forehead or anything like that. Mostly because, well, for the chin, again, I'll be wearing a mask for the most part. So it's just mostly important that I set the area properly. That's all. So, all right, so the next thing is going to be to set the skin tint here, and I'm going to be using my Laura Geller. This is my Baked Balance and Brightening Color Correcting Foundation in Golden Medium. I use this as a setting powder, mostly because of the correcting part, and I just lightly kind of dust it around. Honestly, this foundation is extremely slept on. I love this. That's why I've pretty much hit pan with it. So this is another one I'm gonna have to replenish along with the skin tint. And I'm just going to pat that in. Just pat that in. And I love this because, again, it's correcting, but it's not taking anything away from like the nice glow that I have. Okay. Now we want to give this face a little bit of shape, a little bit of warmth. So I'm going to go in with my Sephora contour palette here. I actually really love this thing, like really love it. And I'm going to take my bronzing brush here. I really need to organize my brushes again, but because I'm not wearing anything too heavy on my face, I'm gonna go in with a combination of this kind of pale color along with this kind of like red undertone here. And I'm just going to bronze up my cheeks, give it a little bit more shape. So first thing is first, I want to see where my natural cheek shadow is. So I'm just gonna do it quick right here, like so, just so I know where it is. And then we're gonna go above that. Like so. And you can totally see a difference between this cheek and this cheek. This definitely looks more slimmed down, whereas this side looks a lot fuller. And then my forehead, we're just gonna try to slim that down a little bit where we're at it. And how I apply it to, I have a kind of wider forehead, so I try to shrink it down a little bit. So I don't go too much at the top of my forehead. I try to keep it more so to the sides here with contouring, just to give me a better face shape here. And then just wanna buff it out. All right, so now I'm gonna give the inner part of my face just a little bit more shape. You can skip this step if you have to wear makeup, not makeup, if you have to wear a mask all day, you can skip this step. For me, because I do take mine off when I'm at my cubicle, I do just still like to have a nice slimmed nose shape here. So this is my Morphe E62 angled brush, and I just like to dust my contour just on my nose here. And I'm using the same mixture that I used on my cheeks for my nose. Like so. And then I'll go in with my angled powder brush and just pat out any harsh lines. Like so. So see how like I have more of a nose structure here, whereas before I felt like it was very flat and wasn't blending in too much. So okay, so you can actually just leave your face like this if you want, if you just wanted to cover up any minor imperfections, anything like that. I personally prefer to have a little bit of color, so I'm gonna go in with my Galactic Sun Pat McGrath palette here, and I'm gonna use Desert Orchid, and I'm just going to do a light brushing of color on. And do the same thing here. I'm using a very light hand with this because Pat stuff is super pigmented. So just got a little bit on there. I'm gonna do a little bit on my nose too, because why not? And then I actually think, okay. And I'm gonna go in with that highlight shade here, Divine Rose. And I'm just gonna highlight my face. That's so pretty. And honestly, I think the skin tint is making that more like prominent. Nose, my bridge, Cupid's bow, over here. That's so pretty. Absolutely. All right, and if you, now we're on to the eyes. I want to give my eyes somewhat of a shape versus it just looking kind of flat like this. If you're one of those people who prefer just like minimal palettes, like you don't want to jump into multiples, we're going back into the contour palette. I love this palette so much because not only is it good for contouring, it's good for just like a nice, you know, well, I guess eye contouring is a thing. So you could do that as well. When it comes to me getting ready in the morning, I try to stick to only 2 eyeshadow brushes. So I have these 2 by Morphe. This one is a M40, this is an M33 brush. And then this one was part of the James Charles collection. And both of them are pretty like blown out brushes. But what I'm gonna go in with is pretty much the same colors that we use to contour our face. So I'm gonna start with the lighter shade. So I'm gonna start with this kind of light brown shade. And I leave my eye open. And I'm just kind of like mapping out the shape. So I kind of just want to elongate the eye a little bit. So I'm making sure that here I have it going out to the end of my brow. Like so. And then just to give it like a little bit more of a oomph, I'm going to take that other brush. I'm going to go in with that kind of red, warm toned contour. And I'm just going to focus this on the outer corner of the eye. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm lifting it up towards the end of my brow. Like so. And then I'm just going to take the original brush, not putting anything extra, and just kind of buff those 2 shades together. Like so. See the difference? Love it. I'm gonna do this one off camera and come right. All right, so our eyeshadow is done and we are almost about done here, but I like to just, I don't know, I'm kind of extra. You can leave this step out if you're just good with where things are now. You can leave it as is, pop on some mascara and call it a day. I like to do a little bit of lash work just to make you just look a little bit more awake. So I'm gonna go in. I ordered some things from Glamnetic. I ordered a couple things from Glamnetic, and I did get a pair of kind of natural, as I hesitate, a little bit more of a natural lash. So I'm gonna pop those on real quick and I'll come right back with the final look. All right guys, I'm gonna back up so you guys can see the final look. So this is what my makeup is looking like. Super cute. Honestly, living mostly for the highlight and the lashes. I did add a little bit of charcoal eyeliner that was from ColourPop, I believe, their gel liner. Oh, Jesus, that was crazy. Hold on. Make sure everything is still intact. Hold on. Okay, I just need to make sure my lashes were still intact because that is my biggest fear, is like sneezing and then my lashes just flying away. But everything is still intact, thank goodness. But like I was saying, I add a little bit of the charcoal in the outer lash line just because I think it just kind of opens up my eye a little bit more, especially with the glow in the inner corner here. Because again, this is makeup that I can wear to work and also wear a mask with, I didn't add mascara to the bottom lash line just because what I've noticed is when you're breathing, in the mask, it causes all of this. No matter how much, somebody can tell you it's not gonna go, it's not gonna smudge, it's not going to like crease. It's gonna crease anytime that you're breathing in that mask. All of the air, the moisture in there is gonna cause the under eyes to start to crease, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to add mascara because then you'll have like a watery mask. Even if it's waterproof, then you get like the kind of crumble. Didn't want that. I think it looks perfectly fine as is. So this is the final look. Actually, lips, right? So I did my lips off camera because I was trying to figure out like what lipstick I was gonna do. Again, in the mask, I don't want it rubbing around because the last thing I want is to have like lipstick up here or down here. So I did use the Maybelline, this is their Super Stay Ink Crayon. This is in shade, what shade is this? Taille, I believe, Taille. So I use this will stay on most of the day. Actually, if not the whole day, most of the day. You might see like a few smudges if you don't blot beforehand, but I always blot before I leave the house, and it's very minimum, if even anything, on my face mask. So this is my work appropriate makeup and also mask proof look. Please let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys like this look, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please consider subscribing and subscribe to my channel for more makeup looks like this. And also, I'm going to try to incorporate a little bit more fashion again. So we shall see, and you shall be subscribed so you can get that notification once I upload. And as always, be brave, be beautiful, and always be you, because it's hard out here. Until next time, bye guys.